Hi, my name is Vanessa Tierney and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Abodoo. And Abodoo is a skills matching platform where we're connecting companies and people that want to smart work around the world. And I think the best place for me to start is to define, well, what is smart working? So the actual definition means, what is the combination of work time that you give your employees or contractors? What percentage of the time can they work from home? Can they work from a hub? Or in a hybrid model? It varies. And one of the beautiful things that will be post-pandemic is that companies will have the opportunity to really look at their company, the industry, the culture, and what will work for their people. So today, my focus is going to be on how to be the ultimate remote leader. Whether you're a hiring manager, you're CEO, you're a founder, what are the elements? And I'm going to be covering really the challenge that faces us all in this new remote and virtual world. I'm going to cover then straight into the 3E framework for effective leadership when you are remote. And then finally going to end with that topic that I've mentioned, the smart working model. What do you need to establish for your business to stay competitive, stay ahead, and get through economic recovery with cash in the bank? Let's start off first. I'm going to focus now on the challenge that faces us all as leaders with the world having gone remote. One of the key aspects of the pandemic was that there was very little time to go virtual. So the first is really around the people, because they're your most important asset. It doesn't matter what industry you're in, what technology, where they are, that they feel that they're secure in what they're doing right now and what they're going to expect. A lot of companies are waiting for the government to make this decision as to when offices will reopen. But you have a real opportunity to actually make a decision now in your smart working model for the rest of 2020, 2021, and communicate that with the team. They will be seriously grateful for that communication. The second element that is a high risk category is actually around security of the technology that you use and the mobile. BYOD, bring your own device to work, was something that a lot of companies had in place when this pandemic kicked off because a lot of the work was done in the office. However, now with everyone remote working, it is really, really imperative that the technology is locked down, that a VPN is used in terms of secure network access. So this is something that we've actually worked with companies on a subscription basis because it is so important that the technology being accessed and the software that is enabled on whatever platform it is, whether it's a laptop, iPad, mobile, is highly secure. The third challenge, and it's something that I faced back in 2010 when I went remote, is actually the learned skill of how do you lead remote, because it's not something that necessarily comes naturally. What works in the office in terms of presenteeism does not translate in every case to virtual. And so it's really important that this is analysed. And sometimes, and as hard as this might seem, your leader might not be the right leader in this time. There's certain characteristics of leaders. For example, maybe they're weak on communication, but it's okay because you're face to face. Or maybe they don't have the greatest empathy, but it's okay because there's other people in the office. All of that is taken away. Now they're exposed and they're dealing directly with your team. And a decision needs to be made. Are they the right leader moving forward through this? The next is really the CFO and the job that they have. Sales are going to be hit and productivity could be hit temporarily. However, it's really important that the CFO or whoever is running your financial modeling and your cash flow forecast, they have the information to hand as to what they can expect post-crisis, as to the savings if this model is embraced, because it can really be powerful in your strategic planning. And then I think the last thing as a leader, from the perspective of like yourself and well-being, it is very, very stressful to be managing remotely for the first time with no notice, and you're trying to implement systems, strategy, engagement, culture. So it's really about what are the challenges for yourself? How can you keep yourself with a high well-being and not getting too stressed? So I'll move through into the effective leadership style that we've adopted at Abodoo, and obviously that we've come across in our clients that have registered on the platform. And the 3 E's are, the first is around engagement. A lot of people make the mistake that when your teams go remote, it's kind of taken that if they're accessing a CRM or an ATS, an applicant tracking system, you can just kind of keep an eye on activity and they will crack on with it and they'll hit the numbers. and engagement maybe once a week, you need to mimic what people are used to. Like if in the office you were having every morning a 15-minute catch up, or it's like 3 times a week there's a team meeting to celebrate people who have done really well, or to give some feedback of constructive criticism, the best thing you can do is actually replicate that and actually increase it, amplify it. Why? This is new for your workers, like to be at home, and it's not a real situation because they could be balancing caring for their parents, they could be looking after children, they could be doing schoolwork. There is so much going on, and it's that engagement will give you the insight. You have such a powerful tool right now, and that tool is actually video. Because when you have a meeting with someone online, you get a glimpse into their world in their background. But it's really important that from an engagement perspective, you know that all of your team feel like they can communicate back. Sometimes, like I've come across a company in the past where it was the extroverts that always got to speak on team meetings. They were always, confident enough despite the topic to be involved, and it was the introverts that really struggled. And in this particular case, it was a software company. What they did was they enabled the chat on the side of the video meeting, and they encouraged people. They actually put in sort of like a playbook to the meeting as to how can you interact. And there's a little hand signal like this in some of these meetings that you can enable. Simple things like that are so important. The next E is emotional intelligence. Now, this is something that people have talked about for a long time. The idea of hard skills and your education, that only tells you half the picture of a person. And I guess up until this point in time, because you're in an office, the personality fit was important, but it wasn't absolutely essential or critical that they fitted the culture. And for the foreseeable future, it is going to be very challenging for leaders to take people that don't fit the culture and adjust or change them. However, it'll be those that have emotional intelligence. Now, I don't mean smart. I don't mean how intelligent are you. I mean cognitively, that connection with someone, really understanding where they're at, how they're feeling, what's their potential, who are they, what's their personality. This is where assessment tools actually come into play in a big way. So personality assessments, cognitive, assessing the speed to learn, their ability to multitask. And you might be pushing back and saying, well, why is multitasking important at this time? It is so critical to have that skill. When you think about what we're all juggling, not just when we're working, but outside of that. So measuring all of that of your team and of the leader yourself is really important to ensure highest productivity. And let's face it, we want to keep on to our great people. We want to retain. The other element I would like to discuss, the third E, is equality. There's the equality in terms of how you lead and manage. One of the mistakes companies make when they go remote, and this is pre-COVID-19, is that really the promotions still happen for the people that actually go to the office. And that's a really big mistake to make. Now, you're probably thinking, oh, I can't even put career paths in place. We've no idea how 2020 is going to end. But you can still put milestones to be achieved. But it's really important. It's an equal playing field, especially if your office reopens, that the people that choose to remain remote, and I use that phrase for a reason, because if you open your office again, the expectation of everyone to come back in will be unrealistic, because people have certain circumstances, whether it's the older parents, the kids, that will just make it very challenging. That shift mentally is happening. The fear is over, trust is there because people have proved that they can work outside of the office. And so it's really important that it's an equal playing field for all. But the empathy kicks in with the emotional intelligence, looking at people's circumstances and making exceptions and allowances. But everyone should have the same opportunity. The other side of equality is actually something that I'm very passionate about, and that's diversity. Because the great thing, and I'm going to talk about some of the positive things of smart working and remote working now, because it is all doom and gloom right now, given what we're experiencing in the world. But one of the amazing things is that you access talent that before traditionally didn't fit the 9-to-5 box. Whether it's somebody returning, they've got kids, and the idea of like being able to put them into childcare and get into the city, it's just not logistically possible, or financially doesn't make sense. You've got someone who has mobility challenges, but they're exceptionally highly skilled in tech, for example. You've someone with a career of 25 years that is tired. They don't want to keep going to the city. They're ready for retirement, but semi-retirement. all of these amazing people and skilled unemployed, like they're ready to work, as well as the people that are now losing their jobs. This is the sort of future world we're looking at that's now here today. And it's a really great opportunity for companies. I'm going to talk really quickly about the benefits of this as Engage, because with remote working, people will tend to actually want to work for slightly less. Why? If they're working an hour or so outside of the city, they get to purchase a house or rent a house at about a third less of what the city is, or even half in some cases. They save money on driving, commuting, buying office clothes, coffees, lunch, makeup. In some cases, it can add up to 10 or 11,000 a year. The average is 7,000 euros saving a year. So many people are prepared to do that. And I bring that up because if you have financially been impacted by what's happened right now, here is an amazing opportunity to go, right, if we embrace smart working for the longer term and put this 3E framework in place, we can save on the rent and rates. We can negotiate with our workers to see perhaps would they be happy to take a cut or work 4 days a week. Their productivity on average goes up, and this is a statistic that's global, 11%. So at this point, I'd love to just summarize the key topics. So the first was the challenges you face. The second really is around the sort of the framework. And then the last piece is establish the smart working model. Bite the bullet, make the decision. If you think that there's risk inviting your employees in, or if you think that they're going to start looking for other employment, especially your star players, decide now what the model is and communicate this vision to all of the workers and to the world. Like, this is an opportunity for your brand to set an example. The other element in terms of the smart working model is the policy and the legal infrastructure and the protection and the insurance. It's as important as the security aspect. So if, for example, your policy in the past had contingency planning, if there's a problem, you have to have contingency for remote. Remote should be able to be turned on 24 hours, but you need to know the protection level. So the smart working model, and I'm happy to share with any Enterprise Ireland clients an audit, a document to send you where you can just look at your own business and see, well, look, what do we need to analyze ourselves and where do we need to invest? So on the final note, our motto is simple: work smart, live smart, and life is a journey, not a commute. Thank you very much.